Not Just Books. The library is a monthly show about what is happening in your world and at the Williamson County Public Library. My name is Dolores Greenwald, and I'm the director of the library. Thank you for joining us. We are so thrilled to be bringing you this informative show once a month about what is happening in your community. Glad you're here, and stay tuned for a great show. I am honored to have some distinguished guests joining us today. In our What's Hot in Books segment, I will be welcoming back Bryan Lane. Bryan lives here in the area and has written a terrific book on General John Adams and the Battle of Franklin entitled Where No Sorrows Come, The Life and Death of Confederate Brigadier General John Adams. The library helped Bryan in his efforts to publish in time for the sesquicentennial commemoration of the battle, and he is here with an update about what he's been doing. Also with us today, I'm pleased to have Mary Pearce. She'll be talking with us during our Your World segment. Mary happens to be the executive director of the Heritage Foundation of Franklin and Williamson County. She'll be talking to us about the Olo Jail and the organization's efforts to restore the building. Also, there'll be a grand opening, so don't miss out on this terrific segment. Guess what? It is rodeo time. Join us during our Save the Date segment as we discuss the Franklin New Rotary's annual rodeo with Bill Fitzgerald. Bill is the executive director of the rodeo and will tell us about this year and what new things are going on. The rodeo is definitely a tradition here in Williamson County. It is a lot of fun, family event, and you don't want to miss it. If you love Franklin, and I know you do, you'll love the rodeo. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. You don't want to miss a minute. In our What's Hot in Books segment, I'm very happy to have Bryan Lane, and he will be talking about his book that the library had a role in helping publish, and that he's had some things happen since the publishing of his book. So I brought him back to talk about it, and I'm very pleased and honored to have him here today. The title of his book is Where No Sorrows Come, Life and Death of Brigadier General John Adams. Welcome, Bryan.
Thank you, Dolores.
Thanks so much for joining us again today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And for those that are not familiar with your book, tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, ma'am. The book is about Confederate Brigadier General John Adams. He is a Tennessee hero, graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. His roommate and friend was a fellow named George Pickett, who may be well known to Civil War folks. And John Adams was killed leading his brigade at the Battle of Franklin. He and his horse, Charlie, were killed on the Federal earthworks.
Now, I like the background as to how you come up with the title. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. The title, Where No Sorrows Come, actually is from a letter that was written by John Adams' father-in-law named Charles McDougall. And Charles McDougall wrote the letter to John Adams' sister after the general was killed, and the letter was to make sure that the general's wife, Georgiana, Charles McDougall's daughter, knew that she was welcome to come home to the North. And he closed that letter with saying that we hope to meet someday where no sorrows come.
I just think that's just a beautiful title. I really like that.
Thank you.
And you have a picture that we are going to show during this segment of the general and his wife.
Yes, ma'am.
And the general is wearing a ring in
Yes.
that picture. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, ma'am. It was the last picture that I received from one of the descendants of the general. And when I first got the picture, it was like the general was holding his right hand out towards me. Now, he wasn't. I didn't have any supernatural experiences or anything like that. But I noticed the ring on his finger and published the book. And then I was actually at an Adams family reunion here in Franklin and met a gentleman named Larry Adams, who is the general's great-grandson. So he's that closely connected to him. And Larry said that he had a ring in his possession that had been handed down to him over the years. And I said, Larry, is that a square ring or an oval ring? And he said, well, it's really more oval. I said, does it look like this? He goes, yes, it looks like that. So and that's the ring that General Adams is wearing in that picture, but it's also the ring that General Adams was likely wearing the night he was killed at the Battle of Franklin, and which was taken from him by the Federal soldiers and then returned to Mrs. Adams after the war.
It's just amazing that it's been handed down.
Yes, ma'am.
Through all of that. That's just amazing. Now, tell us a little bit about the research that you went. You spent many years putting this book together.
Yes, ma'am. Started out reading a book entitled 5 Tragic Hours by Professor McDonough, and the story of John Adams intrigued me. I wanted to know more about him, and there really wasn't any more to know. Just not much written about him. So I thought, I know, I'll write my own book. So I started researching and digging through the official records. I'll never forget an afternoon I spent in Pulaski, Tennessee, in the Giles County Courthouse with a lovely lady named Elizabeth White, who has since gone home to be with the Lord. And Ms. White and I spent an afternoon going through old court documents that shed a lot of light on the Adams family and John Adams' parents and so forth.
Now, that was where he was actually born, right?
Actually, he was born in Nashville.
Born in Nashville,
yes,
that's
ma'am.
right. But he lived in Pulaski
He
for
did.
a while.
And what happened was that when John Adams was about 11 or 12 years old, the family moved from Nashville to Pulaski along what is today US 31. And so John Adams and his family would have gone past the Carter House and so forth. But they ended up in Pulaski, and John Adams now is buried in Pulaski.
But now how many years exactly did you work on this project?
Dolores, you're going to embarrass me now. Because I'm not a full-time writer, historian.
No,
but
I think
guess
it's great.
It took me probably 25 years.
See,
from
that just,
the beginning to the end.
It shows the dedication and the passion that you had for this project to work on it for so long.
I hope it's the good definition of amateur, which is someone who does something for the love of it.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you were talking about meeting the family.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit. That had to have been a thrill after working so long and hard on this book to meet some of the family.
Yes, ma'am. I'd been working with a lady named Jean Crawford over in Memphis for many years, and then another gentleman named Patton Adams, who's the former mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, and then Rosalie Cox out of Ohio. So I'd been in contact with them for years. But when they had this family reunion in October of 2014, I got to meet a lot of other folks that I'd never met before, including Larry. And he and I kind of became buddies over that weekend. So that was fun.
So see, that's a plus, that
Oh,
you don't really think about when you work on such a project.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
And you also fairly recently, spoke to one of our local groups here, Allied Arts Group.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you have kind of spread the word about General Adams somewhat since the book. So that's very good. What other opportunities have you had?
Well, just last week, I spoke to the United Daughters of the Confederacy here in Franklin. I've spoken to Sons of Confederate Veterans groups. I've spoken to historical societies. So it's been a lot of fun. I like to talk about him. It's interesting. Still just not that many people know about him. Matter of fact, I was at Ripavilla for the 150th anniversary, set up at a table with Lisa Harmon. They were selling your book. And this young lady came up and picked up my book and saw the title, and she said, "Oh, John Adams is my teacher's favorite."
No.
And I said, "Your teacher knows about General John Adams?" And she goes, "Nope, this is about President John Adams, isn't it?" And I said, "No, this is General John Adams."
This is a
and
different
she
one.
put the book down and walked away, and that was the last I saw of her.
Well, you worked with us at the library to get this published for the sesquicentennial. And you want to tell a little bit about that experience?
Yes, ma'am. Well, it started with a phone call. You and I talked on the phone, and then I sent you some information about the book, and Lisa Harmon reviewed it and said, "This looks interesting," and so we started working together, and at one point you said, "I've got to have a picture for the cover of the book." And I said, "When do you need it?" You said, "Right now." So I had to take a camera out.
That sounds like a publisher.
I had to take my camera, and my wife and I went out to the battlefield at Spring Hill, and we took
Well, I was going to say, show the front of it. That's beautiful.
And what I like about this cover is, and I have a better picture in the slideshow that I do when I talk about this book, but the sky in this picture is very much Middle Tennessee. And I have a picture that I took on the 150th anniversary of the battle. I took it at the Collins Farm. And if you look at that sky on November 30, 2014, it's the same sky as on the cover of this book.
That's amazing.
I think so.
Now, how can one purchase this book?
They are available at the Carter House, Carnton Plantation, also the Lotes House, and Rippavilla, the State Museum. And they're also available online at Amazon.com and BooksAMillion.com. Also, if you happen to see me driving down the street, I may have some in the trunk of my car.
You have a couple of copies.
I have a couple of copies in my car.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
it's nice to catch up a little bit since this project.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us today, and we'll be right back. In our Your World segment today, I am very honored to have Mary Pearce with us. Mary is the Executive Director of the Heritage Foundation of Franklin and Williamson County. And if you don't know about the Heritage Foundation, you need to. So thank you, Mary, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Well, the Heritage Foundation is a county-wide historic preservation organization whose mission is to protect the historic resources of Franklin and Williamson County. And it was founded when a 19th century home was torn down at the corner of Bridge Street and 5th Avenue, and a filling station went up. Well, later that filling station was torn down and a strip shopping center went up. So we've sold everything from gasoline to getting your toenails done on that corner. But the group of citizens felt like we don't need to be just anywhere USA, and we need to protect our community character. It was also the same year that the National Historic Preservation Act was passed by Congress.
Oh, that's good timing.
Yeah. So the city of Franklin and Williamson County got on the beam right from the get-go to try to save places in our community that matter.
Well, very good. Now, how long have you been with the foundation?
I think I've been there since the beginning of time.
I was going to say, you're an institution here.
Yeah, I have been with the Heritage Foundation. I always have to think a little bit, since around 1986.
So you've seen quite a bit of change here in Franklin and Williamson
Oh
County.
yeah, what we used to always say, that, oh, all of that is just BS. And BS means before Saturn. Because when Saturn came to Williamson County, Dolores it upped the ante on everything, on saving places that mattered, on embracing new development, because it was at that time the largest single industrial development in the history of the world.
Wow.
And there would be black Cadillacs pulling up over a farm field. There would be helicopters flying over. But I think that as a community, and communities really within that one larger community of our county, that we have done an extraordinary job to embrace new development while keeping the best of the past.
And there is a passion here for both.
There
the
is, that's
preservation
right.
of the history of the area and also moving forward.
That's
and
correct.
I think that says a lot about our community leaders and that we are doing both of those.
Yes, I believe that to be true, and I can tell you that it's a lot easier to accomplish historic preservation, even though development brings with it the threat of losing things. But if your economy is vibrant, you have a lot better chance of having the resources to save places that matter.
Well, you have a picture of the
Yes.
old jail. So tell us about what the foundation is doing with the old jail.
Well, this is our right now flagship project, which is saving a building that was listed on the National Register, is listed on the National Register. It was built in 1942 for $25,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be a more secure building than the old jail, Dolores, which sits next door. Now, that is the beautiful brick Victorian building
Yes.
next to the old jail, which we have just restored. And the old jail was demolished during the Great Flood because it was way in the back in the flood area. So,
well, I can see how people can get confused between the old jail and the old
jail. It's very, I know, it's not easy. But this building had sat neglected and vacant for, I would guess, at least a dozen years. And when the city was having conversations with a bank about doing over the post office downtown, which is where we had been for many years, in the rear, and the city wanted to engage in a long-term lease to see that building restored, our board said, well, why don't we just make some lemonade with this little lemon we've been handed that we don't have a place to be. So the lemonade that we cooked up was, why don't we approach the city, because this building had been declared surplus property. It had already been put out for bid one time, and the city didn't get a bid that they could live with. And so we said, why don't we approach them and see if this is something we can pull off? So we were able to buy this building for what it was built for, $25,000, and $2.6 million later, it is looking pretty good.
That is awesome.
And it will be our big house for historic preservation.
Now, Mary, you have an event coming up next month, which is mostly why you're here, about the old jail. So tell us a little bit about that.
We will have the grand opening for the community on May the 22nd at 2 in the afternoon. And we want everyone to come see what we've done. We probably won't be completely finished, but well on our way, and just have it is a community place. We want the community to get in, and they'll hopefully have their own dreams about what could happen at the big house for historic preservation.
A community jail. How about that?
How about that?
Would you ever thought that?
Would I ever have thought I would ended up in jail? Well, maybe. There are probably some people that are just thrilled for me to be in jail, but it is a fun place, and I know that you know and appreciate all the work Rick Warwick has done to collect, scan, and catalog 15,000 historic photographs.
That's amazing.
And we have a wonderful place to show them off. So we'll be very proud for people to come see the historic photographs. We actually found some graffiti from Rabbit Veach, and Rabbit was the one that stole a lot of cars and spent some time at the old jail. We can tell stories such as Fred Bennett, who was with the criminal division of Williamson County government, and at one time the whole criminal division of Williamson County was down in the basement. They called it the rat hole. And so there's, with every building, there are stories. And I think it's all about the stories. It's all about the stories, and the men and women who work there. There were men and women who worked there who met each other, married. There are the first woman sentenced to the electric chair in Tennessee was held in our jail. So each old building embodies its stories.
Mary, how can someone get in touch with you? What is the website of your...
We're www.historicfranklin.com.
You'll have to promise me to come back and talk about the foundation again, because
I'd love
there's so
to.
many other things that you do. We have the Main Street Festival, Dickens of a Christmas.
That's right. Pumpkin Fest.
You'll have to promise me to come back.
I
and
will.
talk about
And yesterday we had a group in which had been part of our dream from Douglasville, Georgia, and we talked to them about how we accomplish partnerships with the community
We'll need
to
talk
make
about
projects
that more,
happen.
too.
So we're
We'll need to talk
excited.
about that. That's great. Well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
to come today for coming to talk about the old
Thank
jail.
you. Thank
and we'll be
you.
right back. Save the Date segment today, we're going to be speaking with Bill Fitzgerald. He is the Executive Director of Franklin Noon Rotary's annual rodeo. And we're very pleased to have him here today to talk about the rodeo and the things that are past and the things that are new this year. Welcome, Bill.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dolores.
so much.
Glad to be here.
Tell us about the rodeo. It's an institution here in Williamson County in Franklin.
Yes, ma'am. This is our 67th year. The Franklin Noon Rotary Club started this project in 1949 as their annual fundraiser, and we're still going strong today, bigger and better every year.
And the money that the Rotary raises for the rodeo stays here in the area?
Yes, ma'am.
What are some of the things that we have helped out?
Well, we contribute to a lot of different charities around the community. We've done a major project with the Williamson Medical Center's Breast Health Center with our Tough Enough to Work Pink campaign on Saturday nights. Since we started that, we've given them a little over $70,000.
That's excellent.
To go towards the Breast Health Center and facility there and help them to become an accredited department. We help some other local charities, Bridges, Domestic Violence Center, One Generation Away, Boys and Girls Club, the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We do our annual project also in Honduras as part of Rotary International's challenge to do an international project. We've done lots of projects in Honduras with water and electricity and stuff for homes there.
Well, tell us about the rodeo.
Well, this year, as we said, it's the 67th annual. It's it's going to be a bigger event than ever. We're doing a lot of new things actually they've started in the last couple of years. Our Franklin Rodeo experience, our Down in the Dirt kickoff party, is Wednesday night from 6 to 9. We open up the arena and let everybody come in and have fun. We like to say, get down in the dirt with us, see our side of rodeo as the producers of the event. We let the kids get down in the arena and throw ropes at roping dummies to try their hand. The clown will be there and have his barrel, and the kids can get in the clown barrel to see what it feels like. You can actually even get in the chutes and have your picture made. Feel the tension that the cowboys feel inside the chutes. Only you won't have a bull or a horse on you.
Well, parents, bring the kids, because I'm sure the kids are going to enjoy that.
Kids love it. We have food trucks there, so you don't have to fix dinner before you come. You can buy your dinner at one of those food trucks. And then we have live music on Wednesday night. The Kentucky Linemen will be there this year and perform. We have some line dancing clubs that come and dance every year. This is the third year, and it's really a bigger project than it started out to be, and a lot of people are starting to come out for it.
It is so much fun watching the kids at the rodeo because they just really get into it.
Kids love it. They wear their cowboy hats, and if they don't have one, we have one there for them to buy.
Right.
We have T-shirts, baseball caps. We have a little of everything in merchandise for the kids and for the adults. But yeah, the kids just love it. You see them come in, they'll have their chaps on, their little toy pistols on their sides, their cowboy hats. They really get into it.
Now, you talked about Down in the Dirt, but there's also other events surrounding the rodeo, like the parade.
Yes, ma'am. The parade is May 14th at high noon, as we call it, through downtown Franklin. Starts at 5th Avenue and Bridge Street, and then goes down Bridge Street to 3rd Avenue, around the square, down Main Street, all the way back out to 11th Avenue where it finishes up. We invite anybody and everybody that wants to put a float in. Go to our website, franklinrodeo.com, go to the parade page. It'll give you all the information about it. There's an application there. Just fill out the application. You'll get an email back that says where to line up and what time to be there.
Well, what are some of the events? One of them is called mutton busting. Is that right?
We have two children events that we allow kids to get involved in. We have the mutton busting, where kids that are 50 pounds and under can register, and then we'll randomly draw names out of the hat. We'll draw 10 names each night for those contestants for mutton busting, and then we have the calf scramble, and we allow all the kids. We have two categories. We have 6 to 9, and then 10 to 12, and we tie ribbons to the calves' tails and let the kids chase the calves until they get the ribbon, and then there's a monetary prize for the top 3 people that are first back to the announcer with a ribbon.
Well, the rodeo, and this is thanks to Bill, I have to say, that it is a real professional rodeo now.
Well,
it's
thank you.
really a very well done job. We have cowboys and cowgirls come from all over. Tell us a little bit about the Professional Rodeo Organization.
Well, the rodeo is sanctioned by the PRCA, or Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, and we are very fortunate that over the years, we've been able to draw a lot of the top contestants that get to compete in Las Vegas every year for the national finals. But yeah, the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association is the only professional group of contestants. There's some others out there that call themselves professional, but the PRCA is the top organization.
Well, I can't let you leave here without talking about how to get tickets and sponsorships. So tell us a little bit about
Well,
that.
let's start with sponsorships. We're winding down. Our print ad deadline for the program ad is actually on Friday, so we're winding that down. We do have a few sponsorship levels available still. We have our parking lot sponsor, our air conditioning sponsor, and then we have lots of partner sponsorships that are available. And you can reach me through the website at franklinrodeo.com about those, or you can email me at billfitzgerald@franklinrodeo.com.
And you've got ticket information. You're doing something unique Thursday night.
Yes, ma'am. We are. Tickets this year for Thursday night. Williamson County has decided to let schools out early, 2 days early, in fact. So we're going to do a schools out special on Thursday night. All tickets for Thursday night will be $10. So go online, franklinrodeo.com, get your tickets for Thursday night for $10. Friday and Saturday nights, adults are $20 and kids are $10.
Get your tickets. It's a fun event, and it's good for local charities, and it helps support the Rotary too.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, Bill, for joining us
Thanks,
today.
Dolores, for having me.
And we'll be right back. Exciting things are happening here in Williamson County, and the library is excited to play a part. I'd like to thank our special guests for being with us today. Thanks again to Bryan Lane, local author and historian, Mary Pearce, Executive Director of the Heritage Foundation of Franklin and Williamson County, Bill Fitzgerald, Executive Director of the Franklin Noon Rotary's annual rodeo. If you have any comments or suggestions for future programs, please contact me. The email address is notjustbooks@williamson-tn.org. You can also leave comments at the library's website, wcpltn.org. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at WCPLTN. Information regarding our new website is coming up, so keep watching and visiting our website at WCPLTN.org. Also, do not forget to help us make it 1 million checkouts this fiscal year. We are so close, so please help us. Find out more at WCPLTN.org. And until next time, explore your world and read.